Donald Trump, and this has implications that will extend a long time, dramatically overperformed expectations in his past performance among non-white voters. Really dramatically. In some places, it made the difference. Here's some examples. Zapata County, Texas. It's 84% Hispanic. It's one of the most Hispanic counties in America. In 2012, Barack Obama won it by 43 points. 2016, Hillary Clinton won it by 33 points. This year, Donald Trump won it by 5 points, 52 to 47. That's a huge swing. And it happened in a lot of places. Starr County, Texas. That's the most Hispanic county in America, right on the Mexican border. In fact, if we built a wall, it would be right through Starr County, Texas. Last night, Donald Trump won 40% of the ballots there. In 2016, just 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton won 79% of the vote in Starr County. Again, swings like that don't happen in American politics over 4 years. In Florida's Miami-Dade County, and that matters, it's the biggest population center in one of the most important states, and by the way, 70% Hispanic, Donald Trump came within 7 points of Joe Biden. Contrast that with 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton was up 30 points in Miami-Dade. What is going on here? Something big. Now, if you've predicated your hatred of Donald Trump on the idea he's a racist who particularly hates Hispanics, and that is really the entire case against Trump for most people on the left, those numbers are a huge problem for you. How do you explain that? What is that? Well, some commentators have figured out a solution, and it's that non-white voters, Hispanic voters, are racist themselves against themselves.
Many people showed up to support Trump because keep it real. A lot of people of color hate themselves. They want to identify with upward mobility, and to them that means white is right.
Oh, a lot of people of color hate themselves. Can you imagine saying something like that? It's grotesque. But they think that. As far as we can tell, there's only one Democrat of prominence who's kind of acknowledging what's going on here. And of all people, we hate to admit this, but we're going to tell you the truth. It's Sandy Cortez of Westchester, New York. She tweeted this, quote, "We've been sounding the alarm about Democratic vulnerabilities with Latinos for a long, long time. The necessary effort simply hasn't been put in." Not clear exactly what that means, but at least she's admitting that these are people who voted freely for real reasons, not simply because they hate themselves. Pedro Gonzalez has been on this for a long time. He's assistant editor of American Greatness, and he joins us tonight. Pedro, thanks so much for coming on. First, let me just ask you, you never want to overstate election results, anomalies aren't trends, or et cetera, but some of these numbers are so dramatic that they suggest something's going on. Do you think that's true?
I think it is true, and I think that's why it's important to try to look at this with clear eyes and a sober mind, because this is really a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think. We're witnessing a kind of realignment that Trump affected.
Huh. What's the basis of it? Why would, if you lived in this country, and all the people who voted did, for the last 5 years, the one thing you know about Trump, every human being in this country knows that Trump hates Hispanics. That's the main talking point against Trump. Why the heck would he all of a sudden become popular with the people he supposedly hates?
I think a huge part of it is backlash for Black Lives Matter. And so I can get into this. In June, Fox News ran a survey that found 21% of Latinos said they supported Trump. In June, ABC News also ran a poll that found 54% of Latino Democrats said they supported deploying federal forces to assist the police in putting down the riots. Overall, 60% of Latinos said the same. Now, that Fox survey ran again in August and September, each time coming back with more support for Latinos in favor of Trump. In September, the number was 34%, up from 21%. So I think that this shows that there is a real kind of implosion going on with the intersectionality that the Democratic Party thought would be its sort of key to success with all demographics. And I think it really shows that the Pew Research Center, around the same time that the Latino support for Trump was at its highest, after months of rioting across the country, Pew reported that the most notable decreases for support for Black Lives Matter was among whites and Latinos.
Amazing. And I should say for our viewers who don't follow academic nonsense, intersectionality is the idea that white men oppress everybody else, so it's white men against everybody else. But these results suggest That's not at all true. Pedro Gonzalez, I'm really glad you came on tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me again, Tucker.
There is a realignment going on right now. The results last night make it very, very clear. And it's not along racial lines, thank God. It's along class lines and lines of culture. People who like the country, people who work for a living, they're all on one side, regardless of what they look like. Amen. Well, 4 years ago, all the experts